So you just read the title card and you're thinking, wait a minute, doesn't Cartoon Network actually like Scooby-Doo? And if you're a Cartoon Network historian or you're a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, you know that Cartoon Network and Scooby-Doo go hand in hand pretty well. There's a but to that. Only in the 90s and 2000s. Once you got to the 2010s, they did not like that dog at all whatsoever. And it only boils down to two little words: Mystery Incorporated. Mostly because Cartoon Network USA heavily screwed the show over, which is really weird because, they greenlit a story-driven Scooby-Doo show, and then when it was the exact thing they greenlit it for, they go, oh, this isn't easy to rerun. We're gonna axe a lot of your episodes on the network and send you off to... Yeah, not the best idea. It also doesn't help that they also, in my opinion, self-sabotage the brand as a whole, mostly because they re-aired Scooby-Doo movies to hell and back. Like, it felt like sometime in the month, like one singular month, you're going to get nothing but Scooby-Doo all across the schedule. And it's like Scooby-Doo's no stranger to having a burst of a marathon of different Scooby-Doo movies on Cartoon Network. But like back in the day when that happened, like Cartoon Network at least knew they needed to slow it down. They can't give it all to you on the schedule. Even though I want to. It also doesn't help Cartoon Network any favors, the fact that they screwed over Be Cool Scooby-Doo, again, airing the first couple of batch of episodes, and then dropping it over to Boomerang. Same fate also happened to Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, and it then got screwed over like multiple times. There was a moment where like no season 2 episodes were airing until they said, screw it, we're just going to drop all of it on HBO Max. So yeah, Scooby-Doo hasn't really had the best of luck with Cartoon Network, like, at all. Okay, so currently speaking, what's going on right now is the movie Scoob Holiday Haunt got canceled. It was completely done, just had a few touch-up things, but other than that, it was ready to go. And then HBO Max canceled it because it, quote-unquote, did not fit the Warner Media Discovery brand. It doesn't really help that during their upfront conference that Scooby-Doo or any other Hanna-Barbera thing is completely wiped from it because, again, doesn't fit what they're looking for. And now, before I say this, I don't agree with them. Like, hell no. And like, they're screwing other things over other than Scooby-Doo. Let's keep that in mind. But to an extent, I can see where they're coming from. Again, I don't agree with it. But if I'm being honest, like, Scooby-Doo merchandise still happens. There's a Zazzle shop. Like, Scooby merch is still going to exist. At the same time, like, Scooby-Doo is like a gold mine for like Walmart and Target and like a few dollar stores, as you can find either What's New Scooby-Doo or any of the shows lower down in price range on DVD. Not to mention the movies tend to be, $5 budget movies over the course of years, so I can see why they're not too worried. At the same time, HBO Max has a back catalog of movies as well, movies and TV shows, so, it's no sweat off their back if they just don't do anything Scooby-Doo related, but this is where the problem comes into play. They're really shooting themselves in the foot. And like, it's part of Scoob, and no matter how you feel about Scoob, I think we can all agree we all wanted to see it, We all wanted to see Holiday Haunt, And at the same time, people want more Scooby-Doo. Whether or not they enjoy it, and, we could be critical in our own means, and all that cool jazz, but, people still want more Scooby-Doo media. There's a dedicated fan base. Not to mention, Scoob literally invented a new fan base. Like, I'm not joking. I remember, there was a few interviews of, celebrities saying, oh, because of the new Scoob movie, their kids are, hype now, and they're, new Scooby-Doo fans. It's happening before our eyes. If anything, Scoob is, what 2000s kids were with both Scooby-Doo live-action remakes. So, yeah, dumb idea to just say no more Scooby-Doo content and just to completely axe a project that's already done, just needs a few touching up things to do. All in all, this is some bullshit, and I don't agree with it, and we need to save this movie. So, how? My recommendation is hashtagging SaveScoobHolidayHaunt on Twitter.com. The reason why I recommend Twitter.com is just simply because the engagement is a lot bigger, and WB is going to notice the outcry a lot more. It's going to be hard to ignore. But one of my biggest recommendations, if you're going to do this, make your own Twitter post. That's important. Don't go to the following companies I'm recommending for them to save it. Don't go to their Twitter accounts under a random post. Just at them or hashtag the following phrases in your own Twitter post. Because let me tell you, when you do it on a random post that makes no sense, it gets annoying and overkill. No one likes that, so make your own post. Now, with that said, here's the first company I would like to see Scoob Holiday Haunt be saved by. Here's the funniest one, Cartoon Network. I know, I ranted about Cartoon Network earlier and the poor treatment of Scooby, but Cartoon Network is turning over a new leaf. Keep in mind, by my own standards and also animation community people, it's a very slow turn of a leaf, but a leaf is being turned at Cartoon Network. And one of the biggest ones that happened really early is Acme Night, and Scoob would make perfect sense for an Acme Night. Not to mention, like a really long time ago, and here's a throwback, and I even mentioned it earlier, but Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins was the first Cartoon Network produced Scooby-Doo movie. So, who's to say they can't do that again? They did it twice with Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins and the sequel to that movie, so hey, they might as well just do it again and save this movie. And heck, here's a little piece of advice, Cartoon Network, or a little wink wink nudge nudge. You know what would be cool? You're sitting down, you're watching one of your reruns of your favorite Cartoon Network shows in the month of November, and then all of a sudden you get a commercial with Roger Craig Smith's voice going, hey, sometime during an early Sunday in December, sometime for an Acme Night very early in December, we're showing the world premiere of Scoob Holiday Haunt, and then right after is the premiere of Scoob, which I know they already premiered Scoob, but you get what I mean. You get back-to-back of that universe. Not to mention back-to-back Scooby-Doo, and not to mention a potential, holiday thing you do every December, You watch Scoob Holiday Haunt, and then right after that, you watch Scoob, there you go, Cartoon Network. That's, already a pretty easy win-win dynamic you got going on right there. So the next person I think should save it is Netflix. I know they're in a really awkward and tight situation right now, but I'm going to be real and I'm going to present something that I don't think anyone really thought about. Scooby-Doo was helping Netflix out a lot. If it wasn't for Netflix, the comeback era of What's New Scooby-Doo being talked about, not to mention Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, from the 2010s kids who grew up on it and felt nostalgic for it. Same with Scooby fans who felt nostalgic for it too. But at the same time, people who never watched Mystery Incorporated got to watch Mystery Incorporated for the first time if it wasn't for Netflix. And a lot of people were talking about both of these shows. Here's the thing, when this happened, HBO Max was taking away the rights from Netflix and dropping all of their Scooby content on HBO Max. When that happened and HBO Max tried to replicate what Netflix did when people were talking about those two shows, they're like, hey, look at all this Scooby content we have. Ooh wee. No one had engagement with it because it just wasn't on Netflix. So really, I mean, there's like proof in the pudding alone. Netflix was doing Scooby pretty good compared to when all that Scooby content that was on Netflix going over to HBO Max, not to mention a whole bunch of other Scooby content on HBO Max, there was like zero engagement. So already right there, that kind of tells you, yeah, maybe Netflix had the right idea. And at the same time, I mean, if Netflix plays their cards right, same with WB, we could be getting every few years another Scoob movie on Netflix. Again, if Netflix and WB plays their cards right. And at the same time, like, if WB isn't going to give a crap about it on their own platform, HBO Max, Discovery, Warner, whatever they're calling it nowadays, if they're not going to care, like I feel like Netflix could probably take care of it a lot better. And not to mention, if WB and Discovery don't want Scooby-Doo, like, Netflix is right there. I'm sure they would happily take up the license. So, yeah, I think those are two good places that could potentially save it. So, yeah, hashtag Scoob Holiday Haunt, how you feel about the situation, why you want Cartoon Network or Netflix to save it, and yeah, that's all I really got.